Beantown to your town. This is the Beantown Beatdown. I'm just changing the camera. Yep, Beantown Beatdown. Matthew Barris here.
Gabe Thomas.
Yep, been off for a while
and now we're back.
Yep. Yeah.
Took a break for a minute and now we're here.
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers to that.
Yep. And we're gonna get it started with our first debate. Will Floyd Mayweather fight in 2017? Because there's been a lot of speculation. Will he come back?
Mm-hmm.
You know, of course, Conor McGregor, the UFC champ, lightweight champ, he has said that he thinks the fight is off. But you never know; they could be on again.
Right. And for everyone that doesn't know exactly, Floyd Mayweather was the one who brought in tons of money, tons of viewership for the main event. In 2015,
2014, 2015, 16, and and of course there's also
the one against Pacquiao. It's the one most people know.
Yeah, they're even saying there could be talks of a rematch with Pacquiao. So. My thing is, I personally don't think it will happen. My head says yes, but my heart is saying no. Mayweather, he has his money. He's made his money. He's got his promotion. He's managing fighters. Also, physically, his body is breaking down. He's had a lot of shoulder injuries, and his hands have been broken a few times. So, I personally do not think 2017 is going to be the year that Floyd Mayweather comes out of retirement. If he does, I'll be impressed. But honestly, I think it's time for the boxing world to move on beyond Floyd Mayweather. What about you?
Well, I can see why there would be a reason for it. I mean, I think like I said, I think he brought in a lot of fans, a lot of viewership. He's again, as someone looking from the outside, there's a lot that you taught me. But previous, there's only a few names that I could list. There's only a few names on a very short list, and it's pretty much Mayweather and Ronda Rousey. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
So I can see why people would want to hold on to that. Yes. I don't know whether he's in condition to do it. I mean. The thing for me is it's weird. I don't see why he wouldn't be in condition to do it, and yet I still don't understand why the whole early retirement. It seems of fighters, in general. Well, but we've talked about this before, right?
Yeah, it's it's you gotta know when to get off the stage, and eventually.
But you've said that it's not just like that, but it's also like there are also a lot of physical problems that we as fans don't always know about.
Well, yeah. Well, fans have known Mayweather's hands. He's broken his hands a few times and had some injuries.
Right.
But it's like I said. You gotta know when to get off the stage. And what I was gonna say was, sorry. To all the monsters out there, but eventually Lady Gaga is going to have to learn to get off the stage too.
Oh, boo.
No, not
now.
Having it. Not now. I mean, not now.
Right.
Not now.
But how about
later on? I mean, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. How about a few decades?
Yeah.
Since Madonna went strong for 40, 50 years, maybe.
Yes, exactly. So you never. Like I said, I don't think it'll happen. Head saying yes, heart saying no, but we'll have to wait come 2017.
Exactly.
And now for our second debate, and this is really a good one if you're a parent. What should be the age limit for kids to attend fights? And, because what made me think about this one was I remember watching the old fight between Manny Pacquiao and Miguel Cotto, and Manny Pacquiao was giving Miguel Cotto an ass whooping, if you remember that fight. I mean, cuts on both eyes and getting knocked down a few times. I mean, Manny Pacquiao took him to the woodshed. Yeah, for those of you who know from the South, y'all know what I'm talking about when I mean the woodshed. And Miguel Cotto's wife and kids were there. His youngest son, Miguel Jr., I think he was like maybe 6 or 7 years old at the time.
Yeah.
And he was getting a beating. And right before the last round, the 12th round, Miguel Cotto's wife and her youngest kid, they left ringside.
Oh, man.
Yes. And that was a real hard thing. I mean, it's hard for any kid to watch their parent, getting the crap beat out of them.
Of course.
So, I mean, and people have said, like, well, should there be an age limit? My mom thinks so. Thinks there should be an age limit. Personally, if there should be an age limit, I don't personally believe in it, but I think it should be maybe 10. I think by 10 years old, that it's a physical competition and you know that people get hurt. I mean, I watched boxing fights even before I was 10. I was like 8 or 9 years old, so
right.
I turned out okay.
Right. It is a very interesting question. I actually, it's interesting that you brought up the contestants' kids, because I actually think that's two very different things. I would actually say it's very different whether you're going to bring in, I don't know, maybe this is a weird double standard, but if you're going to, like any regular kid, as an audience member going in, that's one thing. I actually think there should be a higher age limit on that, just because, I don't know, and you're kind of desensitized, if you're not actually invested in it or whatever, but or if you don't know the person. But I can understand why a younger kid whose father it is in the ring, whose in some cases mother it is in the ring, I can understand why they would definitely want to be there and be like, no, I gotta see my father, my mother compete. You know what I mean? So I think in that sense, I would have a strict age limit, but I would like waive the rules for the contestants' children, even though I it would make it hard on them if their father or mother were to start losing badly and get very badly physically beaten. It's not a good thing to see. But I mean, I think that's the same with. I think that's also the same with all kids. Like I actually don't think it's a really good thing to see. Except I can understand your point about 10. 10 might be a good age for it. I might sometimes I think I would push it up to like 12. I want them to be really mature. Other times I think why have an age limit? I mean, I personally don't like that kids that young would be going. Like, if it's under 10, 9, 8, I don't like that kids that age would be going. But why would you make it a matter of policy, to actually bar them from it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and plus my other thing is, I understand. Well, it's not so much of the violence, but also because antics. Like Adrian Broner a few times in his fights, to humiliate his opponent, he'll sometimes go behind his opponent and act like he's fucking him in the ass. He'll be like, to get a mental advantage over his opponent.
Right.
And or like
exactly, and that's not. I mean, I don't like the double standard of sex. Like I think we shouldn't treat sex as if it's worse than violence. And sometimes violence is a lot worse. But yeah, I think that type of stuff is also like inappropriate for kids to see if they're
Yeah, and also there was so after on post fights, whenever you watch UFC or kickboxing or boxing, they get on the microphone, they get interviewed, and the microphone is at a level where like the whole crowd can hear it. They'll say stuff like motherfucker and
I was about to say I'm sure that there's actually some pretty bad language in the parents. I don't know. That's a tough one with me. Like I kind of don't care, but I do understand why parents are very upset about that and want their children to not say those things until after a certain age. You know, my sister's my sister's daughter, sister-in-law, you know, she's raising her child, and she pretty much, you know, she always tries not to say anything, but she pretty much raising her child where she just, you know, she just says everything. She does let it slip out and doesn't really take it back most of the time. So, you know, you know, she's a good kid. You know, she's raising a good kid, and you know, and this kid is very smart and mature for her age, like extremely. So I think this kid completely can handle it. But yeah, I can understand why some parents think that other kids shouldn't have to, you know, handle it or shouldn't listen to it. And yeah, so I think, you know, I don't know. I don't believe in sheltering kids, but I also don't believe that, you know, we should. You know, I think that's a problem in our society when you start hearing, you know, 9-year-olds, 8-year-olds saying "fuck you" and stuff. Like, they should not be saying that shit.
Oh yeah, you know, especially. I mean, remember when the WWE started their Attitude Era in the late '90s, and kids were going to shows and seeing Austin do, you know, flipping the bird and, you know, and suck it chants and, you know, yeah. So like, I can understand that, and also because, you know, I don't know if you remember this, but when Big Papi was going to play one of his last games at Yankee Stadium, they said that there was a rumor that Yankee fans were going to moon him.
Oh, really?
During like the farewell ceremony and whatever.
Right. And
now, of course, I was like, well, you know, if you pay your ticket, you can pretty much do whatever you want, and you know, but then I thought, well, you know, kids are going to be there, and kids don't need to see an adult's ass and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, that's an interesting thing because that's you know, that's a team sport, you know, and I think we do have this kind of idea that team sports are like family events, you know, and that type of thing, and I think
bullshit.
Yep. Exactly. But I mean, you know, I think that a lot of people think that, and I think that, you know, people think that you know, the team sports is like a wholesome family event, and you know, the fighting sports is like a, you know, like, don't bring your kids to that, you know what I mean? But it's like, if they're gonna, you know, shout curses, and if they're gonna moon the guys, you know, at team sports, then why would you think of it as that much different from like a fighting match?
Yeah, you know, and you know, like I said, I understand from the parents' point of view, but also I understand there are no age limits on other sporting events, and I can see like Dana White or Bob Arum or you know, Scott Croker, the promoters and stuff, being like, well, those sports teams, they don't have age limits for kids in there. Why do we have to have age limits? This is a double standard. It's bullshit.
Right, exactly.
Fuck you.
Exactly. I mean, I think it should. I like agree, but I do think it should be considered that it is a very different type of sport, you know, and not so much for the language and not so much for the sexual references, even though there is that. I really do think we should think of violence itself as, you know, as something kind of inappropriate for kids under a certain age.
Yeah, because not every kid will be like me when I was 8. So
yeah, exactly. I mean,
yeah,
it messes some kids up. There was another point I was gonna make about this. I don't remember. But yeah. Anyway. Oh yeah. So, like you were talking about the contestants, kids, you know, and that's a whole thing. And I don't think that they should be. I don't think that they should put any restrictions on that. You know, like the child wants to go and wants to see their dad, whatever, compete. You know, I think they should be able to. So I was almost in a college movie.
Yeah.
If you know, it was gonna you know, make these moves to go, you know, somewhat mainstream, and so it was going to be a gay love story, and and part of it was gonna have scenes from like a leather bar and such, and and I was super excited about it. I thought I was right for the role. They didn't, but I was actually told that I might be accepted, and then told I wasn't. So that was bullshit. But besides the point was that that was during that time when I thought I was accepted. I was like, okay, well, this is gonna be awesome, and how am I gonna show it to people and this and that. And then I was like thinking about my newfound brother, and he has a daughter of 9, and I was like, So I know for a fact that when she hears that Uncle Gabe was, in a movie, she's gonna want to see it, and she's gonna hound her parents. You know what I mean? I was like, well, but the thing is that this, there's gonna be a leather bar in here. There might have actually been a throwaway thing about a dildo at one point. So it's like, it's like, oh damn it, she's gonna want to see it, and yet I'm probably gonna tell her, I don't know if you should see it yet. I don't think you can. So I don't know. That's just another way to kind of illustrate that it is a little bit different when someone is involved.
Yeah, it's hard being an actor if you're a parent or an uncle. I mean, that's why Mark Wahlberg will not do Boogie Nights 2.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean. Well, it's just a matter of, I guess for now, it's just a matter for the parents. It's just enter at your own risk.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's actually probably good. It's probably better that way because the same thing that people have said with TV, like a lot of the cartoon TV shows kind of make references to like people not wanting to show it to their kids and a lot of them say, well, Why should other people and the TV itself get to decide what's appropriate for your kids? You're the damn parent,
Exactly.
Make the decision.
Exactly. Amen, brother. Amen. Mm-hmm. And now we're gonna get into Get Over Yourself. Is that?
Oh yes. Yep.
Welcome to Get Over Yourself, and Gabe, take it away.
All right. So. This is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be talking. We talk a lot about fights, and interactive sports. So I came across something recently that I've realized actually has a lot of parallels to the sport of fighting, and kind of the same hype is there's this series called Epic Rap Battles of History.
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of this?
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's super big. Some say it's one of the biggest, video series on YouTube. And anyway, it's that they find different characters or really different people from history. Sometimes characters, sometimes real people, and we talked about before, like who would win in a fight, right?
Right.
And how some people are like, who would win in a fight? The Easter Bunny or like whatever. Like sometimes people want to do like really crazy characters. Who would win in a fight, Spider-Man or Batman? So anyway, this is kind of the same thing, except it's not a physical fight. It's who would win in basically a verbal fight. What else is a rap battle? But verbal fight, throw down. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
And some of the best lines are actually disses on the other person. I mean, you do work on building yourself up as well, but some of the best, most memorable lines are like disses on the other, and then it like goes back and forth, and so yeah, basically it's called a battle. I mean, they call it a battle, a rap battle. So that that indicates that it is in fact a verbal fight, and so yeah, the whole way they hold themselves. A lot of these characters or representations of people, a lot like fighters. The way fighters, get into it with the dirty talk or the trash talk, and the weighing in. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, Conor McGregor, he's a master of that.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was fascinating, and I'm sure that I think there have been other like rap battle, videos and such, and of course there's I forget what it's called, but there's like amateur rapping contests, type of thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, all of that is kind of based off of the same thing. But yeah, with the rap battles of history, obviously they're bringing in either made up characters or real people that actually lived, and kind of giving them a new personality. And it is fantastic. It's fucking, off the chain. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And, of course, if you're somebody who's from the era of old school hip-hop, which I am and you are, and you know that, there's been a history of rap battles and stuff. I mean, even going back to Eminem back in the old days and stuff like that. And, of course, there's also these diss records, like from LL Cool J, Ice Cube, and Tupac, Biggie, and then Eminem, of course, who just ripped people to shreds.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, they get into it in the same way, and then the reason the rap battles of history is so cool is that it it brings in people that you would normally not think about in the same way, and like I said, gives them a whole new personality, and and I think some people say it's not actually educational. I think it kind of is, because it makes people want to, it brings them to life. These people that were normally just relegated to a history book, and now you want to find out more about them. There's Ivan the Terrible versus Alexander the Great. That was a pretty good one, yeah. And the thing about the other cool thing is that they also have a lot of surprises in there too. There's so with that one, Ivan the Terrible pretends to have been defeated by his lyrics that he threw down, and offers him a glass of wine. It turns out it's poisoned. Anyway, apparently that's something that Ivan the Terrible actually did. Is how he got the power, is that he would pretend to be defeated and then and then trick them. So anyway, he actually does that in the rap battle, and then so now Alexander the Great's actually dead, and then this Prussian, Frederick the Great, comes in and tries to throw down on him. What? No one around can beat this Russian. How about a flute-busting Prussian?
Yeah, that's good for the kids, educational-wise and stuff, and rap is poetry, and at the end of the day, it may not be, even with Hamilton, the play Hamilton.
Yes, exactly, and Hamilton takes that to the exact same level. Hamilton's basically like that, and it basically is a rap battle of history, except on the Broadway stage, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, exactly. Because it makes. And I know like because there's a lot of people in hip hop who will be like, oh, that some will say like, oh, it's making hip hop more commercial. It's it doesn't this new rap, and it's like, well, no, it educates the kids, and also it'll make because kids, hip hop is mainstream, whether we like it or not.
Exactly.
It's white. They say like, oh, hip hop is mostly listened to by white kids in the suburbs, but it's like, well, okay, white kids in the suburbs also listen to R&B. So does that make Beyonce and Rihanna sellouts? And white people in the suburbs also listen to jazz and the blues. Nobody's coming down on BB King and all those black musicians. So.
Yeah, exactly. So and again, I think it brings it. It also does bring it to a new, different level. I think it makes people that are more interested in rap appreciate history in a different way. But it also makes people that are more intellectual or whatever appreciate rap in a different way as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It also shows that hip hop is not all about. I mean, because hip hop is there are different. There's really no real definition of what real hip hop is. I mean, it's like, everybody says today some of the rappers they're talking about they're making up dances when they're not real dancers, or they're still talking about bling and bitches and hoes, and then there's some rap that's just about being gangster and the streets and stuff. I mean, because I grew up in the era of hip hop, and luckily I have a brother. Hey Wayne, what's up? Gotta give a shout out to my brother.
Yeah.
But being around him made me, because he would listen to all sorts of rap music. He was into the Biggies and the Tupacs and Snoops and Dre's, but he also listened to conscious rappers too, like Mos Def and Common, and
right.
Then he got into the Eminems, and so I became kind of a person that liked certain types of rap music. I did like the gangster stuff, but I also liked rap music that I could dance to, and because hip hop started as a party music.
Yeah.
Going all the way back to Grandmaster Flash and the Sugar Hill Gang and LL Cool J, Run DMC, and of course Kid and Play. The house party movies. So it's hip hop is it's changed, man. It's changed.
It is.
So
and this is a great way to show that it's changed and to keep evolving with it. And then the cool thing about this video series is that they bring in a lot of actually known rappers or lyricists as well. There's apparently a lot of people know who Marla Marbles is, and she did a thing as Eve. That was another one, Adam versus Eve, going way back in the Bible. And then there's one of my favorites of all is Cleopatra versus Marilyn Monroe.
Wow.
Yeah, and it gets tough. I mean, that's like the most quintessential. It becomes the most quintessential cat fight you've ever seen. They go dirty at each other, and it's fantastic. But what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So the real surprise star of one of them, a Christmas themed one actually, is Santa versus Moses, and Snoop Dogg.
Oh.
The doggy dog is Moses.
Oh yes, Snoop D-O-double-G.
Exactly. And yeah, he just you can imagine he just spits oblivion into Santa, but Santa does get some good disses in, I don't know what you took. You've been smoking too much of that burning bush.
Yeah.
Moses and the burning bush.
Yeah, of course. And Snoop, and even Snoop Dogg has changed. I mean, Snoop Dogg, when he first came out, he was a gangster, talking about fucking bitches and hoes and sluts and smoking weed, drinking gin and juice. And he still does a little bit of that, but now, because white kids love Snoop, and he's gone also more into corporate America. So he knows that he can't be the same Snoop Dogg from 1993, because that's why he has his show on VH1 with Martha Stewart. You see him at opera. He was one time at an opera show, and they did one of his songs in opera with a symphony. So it's like.
Yeah, that's also a good way to show evolving.
Doing a song with Willie Nelson and Katy Perry and pop stars.
I think I remember that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Buy My Medicine. But, because even Snoop Dogg knows that, hey, look, I'm still the same Snoop Dogg, and I'll still do, gin and juice and, bitch please, and, ain't no fun if the homies can't have none. But at the same time, he realized, this isn't 1993. It's not 1999. It's not even 2001.
Right.
I'm more in corporate America. I gotta shape up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. Some people would see that as like a negative thing, like, oh, corporate America, shape up, like doing what the man says. But I think it's also, it's also like having a more, I don't want to say positive, didn't sound judgy, but you know what I mean, a kind of more positive oriented message, and
also, he still smokes weed too.
Well, yes, but of course, but yeah, I mean, I think it's also about kind of showing yourself to be a more upstanding person as well, and and kind of like shifting your message for the times and such. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Even Jay-Z has had Jay-Z, when he went into corporate America, Jay-Z realized like, hey, listen, I'm no longer in Brooklyn, New York. I'm from Brooklyn, but it's like, I'm married to a girl, and the hottest R&B pop diva in the world right now. I've got doing clothing and stuff. He was like,
and I was gonna say, like, she also has she definitely brings in a lot of like social messages and stuff nowadays as well. Like, I mean, she's like definitely, she definitely was Miss Thing, but she was also like, she's also has a she has a message. She has some causes now.
Yeah. And she actually not too long ago did a song with the Dixie Chicks at one of the awards shows.
I think I'd heard that.
Yeah, so she can do a little bit of country. She can do R&B, pop.
Right.
So to each its own, man.
Exactly.
And we want to make a little quick mention of this. Actually, I didn't find this out until I was reading Ring magazine back in November, but. Aaron the Hawk Pryor passed away in October. Aaron the Hawk Pryor from Cincinnati, Ohio. That's also where Nick Lachey and Carmen Electra are from.
No.
Actually, they went to high school together. They were years apart, though.
Oh, huh.
Yeah, I think she was like a couple of grades higher than Nick.
Mm-hmm.
But Aaron the Hawk Pryor, really one of the best fighters of the 80s. Best known for his 2 fights with Alexis Arguello. Didn't really get the big money fight, like with the Fab Four, like Marvin Hagler, Durand, and Hearns and Leonard. But those 2 fights with Alexis Arguello were phenomenal. In fact, the anniversary of it is coming up soon, and we're gonna do that when it comes up.
Okay.
And also, and he paved the way for Ohio natives fighters of today, like Sean Porter and of course Adrian Broner. And funny story, Aaron Pryor actually was a sparring partner for Howard Davis, who was on the '76 Olympic team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said that he turned pro because he saw that Howard Davis was making $100 million, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna turn pro. And he says that he claims to actually have beaten Sugar Ray Leonard in a sparring match. He said he whooped Sugar Ray Leonard's ass. I don't know if it's true or not. I mean, but in fact, I've also heard that actually because Sugar Ray was a welterweight and Aaron Pryor was like lightweight and super lightweight.
Yeah.
But Sugar Ray in the amateurs was a super lightweight, and I heard that Sugar Ray moved up in weight to get away from him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But we don't know, and stuff. And of course, later on, Aaron Pryor came in and out of retirement. He was on drugs. Of course, in the 90s, he cleaned himself up, and really one of the best little man fighters of that era in the 80s, because in the 80s, it was all about the little guys.
Yeah.
The heavyweights weren't really drawing as much. Of course, until Tyson came in the game. So rest in peace to Aaron the Hawk Pryor. It's Hawk time. That's what he always used to say with his entourage. He'd be like, hey, what time is it? Hawk time.
Hawk time.
Yeah. And
rest in peace.
Rest in peace to that man. Also, I forgot to. Well, of course, I'm a little drunk right now, but I gotta say this. I had another sexy dream. Well, this one involved your favorite member of Mad Men, Christina Hendricks.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, well, Because you know how, like, in the 60s, like, there were, like, some gay people, but they weren't quite out yet?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I had this dream that I actually came to this apartment, and I saw you. I went, "Hey, Gabe, what's up?" And you went, "Hi, Matt. How you doing?" And, of course, you and Christina were pretending to be a married couple.
Oh,
because, like, you were actually, because you're gay and and stuff.
She was my beard.
Yeah. And I said, "So where is she?" And she goes, "She's right in the room." So I went right into your room there. You know, she's laying there. She's got a red bra, panties, and stuff, and she's smoking a cigarette, and she goes, "So what are you waiting for?" And then, I get on top of her, and I am fucking the shit out of her. I mean, I'm on top of her. I'm just going, and she's like, and she goes, "Oh yes, you're fucking me up to my womb. Oh yes, it hurts. It hurts. And of course, I blew my fucking load in her. Oh yeah.
Thanks for the graphic detail. Yes.
Yeah. By the way, but also, by the way, she's gonna be in Bad Santa too.
Oh really?
Yeah. So, yeah, she's getting some work after Mad Men.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, be on the lookout for that. And now we're gonna get into our blast from the past. Actually, November 22nd. It was 10 days after my birthday, 1986, Mike Tyson won the heavyweight championship of the world, beating Trevor Berbick. And Trevor Berbick, at that time, he was the WBC heavyweight champion. He just won the title, and this was his first title defense. He was best known for being Muhammad Ali's last opponent in 1980, beat him, and of course he fought...
So this was his first title defense from that?
Yeah. Well, he didn't win the title until, like, around that year, 86.
Right.
Because he did fight Larry Holmes for the WBC heavyweight title, and Larry Holmes beat him. So, Trevor Berbick, he had a reputation of being a good fighter, had a lot of potential, and this was his first title defense, and this was a young Mike Tyson. I mean, this was Mike Tyson. Don King wasn't in the picture yet. Tyson had Bill Clayton, he had Jimmy Jacobs, and Kevin Rooney, his original trainer. And it actually had been a year and a month since his mentor, Customado, died.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, it had been like a year and a month since Cus died. And he goes into this fight with Trevor Berbick. And also, if you saw the Tyson documentary or read his book, weeks before the fight, Tyson had fucked a prostitute and got gonorrhea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was still in the streets, fucking bitches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, that fight was awesome. I mean, like, especially the knockdown in the second round. The first knockdown, Tyson went up and just bam, bam, and knocked him down. And then, of course, as we all know, in that second round, when Tyson, like, hit him with some body shots, went bam, boom, missed with the uppercut, and then boom, got him with the left hook, and Berbick went down. And
he had gotten up both times, but then this time he tries to get up, and it's just the legs just buckle under.
Oh yeah, it was like in fact, me and my brother, whenever we see seen clips of that fight, we always make fun of it. Like when Berbick goes down, he's like, "Oh, wait, okay, let me try to get up. No, okay, let me try to get up." Bam.
Yeah, exactly. I can imagine making funny sound effects to that.
Yeah, and then the third time he tried to get up, the third time he tries to get up, he's like, and Mills Lane's like, no, stop.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was, in fact, it was a great timing for I forgot the name of the announcer of that fight, but the person who was doing the announcing, he said, "And we have a new era in boxing."
Yeah, I think I heard that.
Oh yeah, and that was perfect timing because that was really the launch of the Mike Tyson era. I mean, before then, Mike Tyson was already famous, just knocking guys the fuck out in his prime. beating the shit out of people.
Yeah, they had said he's most, or something like, he's most known for his knockout, or there's a lot of knockouts in his history, and we expect it might be the same tonight, something like that.
Oh yeah, sick. Yeah. Oh yeah, the announcer's name was Barry Tompkins. That was his name, Barry Tompkins.
Okay.
And actually, he still announces boxing to this day. He does a little workout on Showtime. He's done some work for Golden Boy Promotions when Golden Boy was on Fox Sports 1. So, yeah, he's still around, But, and, that was just a tremendous fight. And, that was really, it really was the beginning of the Tyson era. And,
right. And yeah, it gave me an appreciation of where that all came from. Like, as being a casual fan, I didn't really know all the backstory and whatever. And yeah, it was fascinating for me to see that this really was the turning point. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, exactly. And Tyson would go on to collect not only the WBC title but the WBA and IBF, becoming the undisputed champion. And Mike Tyson.
Did I hear right that he was only 20 years old at the time?
Oh, yeah. Youngest heavyweight champion of the world.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And, of course, later on down the road, we later on saw how personality-wise and professionally it kind of affected him because of, because then the drugs and then the marriage to Robin Gibbons and the rape allegation, which was bullshit. And then, and of course later on with the ear biting and stuff like that.
Exactly.
But at that time, Mike Tyson was a machine. This was Tyson as a machine. This was like, he was this kind of fighter where you could not take your eyes off. If you turned your head for 1 second, the fight was over.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and he was just knocking motherfuckers out. At that time, just knocking them out, getting in, getting out. And in fact, my mom ordered one of the pay-per-views. She doesn't remember, but I think it was the Michael Spinks one where he knocked him out in 91 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
But my mom went into the kitchen for something, and the fight was over. Yeah, it was, my brother was there, and my uncle's Scrap, was there, and they were like, "Oh, fight's over," and my mom was like, "What? The fight is over? I paid money.
Paid money for this."
Yeah.
She drops her dish, runs back into the living room.
Yeah, that was the thing. Yeah, that was the thing about Tyson fights. If it was on pay-per-view, you really had to be there, because if it was, because that was the other thing, because like Mike Tyson's fights would last maybe 1 round or 2 rounds, 3 rounds, and people would be like, "What? That's bullshit. I paid a lot of money, and I got the pizza, and and now the fight is over."
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. I guess it's not unlike the early arc of Ronda Rousey too, right? She had pretty quick knockouts, and stuff.
Well, submissions.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Ronda Rousey is fighting December 30th, and she did say this could be she says this is going to be one of her last fights, so this is definitely a not miss fight. I'm going to try and, me and our mutual friend, the dog, we're going to try and go out to Buffalo Wild Wings and see that fight. Actually, you should come with us.
All right, I'll see what I can do. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to be hanging out together on December 30th and New Year's Eve. I love you, man. I love you, man.
Oh, you too.
Happy Hanukkah and Happy Christmas and Merry Christmas. And that's gonna be it for now. We may or may not come back on Christmas Eve.
It's gonna be Christmas Eve night.
Depends on his work schedule.
Yeah.
But if we do come back, then make sure you tune in, and if not, we'll probably see you January in the new year.
All right.
Yeah. So from Beantown to your town, this is the Beantown Beatdown. Matthew Burris, Gabe Shamus saying, Happy Holidays!